Oh, yeah. Is it Saturday already? Have we made it through yet another week of Star Wars in the last week of Andor Season 2? And you know what that means, chat. You know what that means. We have to put Andor Season 2 up against all the other Star Wars projects. Is it the greatest single season of Star Wars television of all time? Does it make Andor as a whole, as a series, the greatest Star Wars series? Or is The Mandalorian still better? Is Ahsoka still better? Is the Clone Wars or even Star Wars Rebels even better? We're going to put them all up against each other tonight in a tier list. But before we do any of that, let's say hi to everybody. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday afternoon? It seems like a doom and gloom weekend because Andor is over. We are not predicting episode 13, 14, and 15 of Andor because they don't exist. They're called Rogue One, and they're on Disney Plus right now. But we have no more Andor. It is over. I know, sad days. However, now we get the great opportunity to put Andor Season 2 up against the rest. Finally adding the final piece to our tier list and seeing where all these other projects pan out with the Star Wars, people who love Star Wars community. All right. But before we get into that, I got a couple little Easter eggs that people have been noticing from Andor Season 2 that we have to talk about first. I know we have a delayed stream a little bit here today, but it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I'll tell you whose fault it is in just a second. But before we do any of that, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? Rachel, what is up? Why is it over there? What? Rachel, what is up? Mike, how we doing? Gaming, how we doing? Holly, what is up? Starship 66 in the house. Ian, what is up? 50 Thunder, how we doing? Another Mike who loves Star Wars, what is up? Darth Plagueis lives in the house. Steve, how we doing? WUV Grad in the house. Brandon Baker, what is up? Inklet, how we doing? Kit Fisto in the house. Oh, we got a new member. Hang on, chat. King Shadow, how we doing? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. So, well, first, let's start by welcoming this person to the people who love Star Wars. Who joined? Okay. Aaron. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars, Aaron. I appreciate that quite a bit. Membership, super chats, keep the lights on over here. So I appreciate it. We also have another super chat. Another Mike who loves Star Wars with a very generous $5 holla says, "Hey Mike, before season 2 of Andor, I predicted that this would replace Ahsoka as your number one. So where are we now?" Well, Mike, if I told you that, then I would ruin the entire live stream today because we'll leave it at that, okay? Okay. Not answering that question just yet because we got to rank all these different shows, okay? So we'll get to that later on in the stream. Before we even start the tier list, though, I want to start with these new little Easter egg things that are coming out from Andor Season 2 and all the good stuff that's going on there. So first things first, let's take a look at this. Currently, right now, on Disney Plus, the number one thing on Disney Plus is Rogue One. Not Andor Season 2, which it should be because it's so good, but it's Rogue One. And the reasoning for that is because of Andor Season 2. So many people are watching the finale of that season and going on to go watch Rogue One. It makes this movie so much better after having seen the first two seasons of Andor. It gives so much more explanation to how the rebellion came to be on Yavin and so much more backstory for Mon Mothma and Bail Organa and Cassian Andor, et cetera, et cetera. It makes it so much better. If you have not watched it yet after having seen season 1 and season 2 of Andor, go do that immediately, okay? But that's pretty cool. This was wild. I did not catch this. Apparently, and I don't know when this is, but there is a Gungan skull in Luthen's shop in episode 10 in Andor. Now, some people are predicting the worst. that Jar Jar Binks is officially dead in Star Wars canon, and this is his head, and Luthen chopped off his head and put it in his gallery on Coruscant.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I don't know. It's a little strange. Gungan head. It's like got gold sort of going through it too. Even more Naboo stuff for Luthen. Even more Luthen bad guy stuff. But we do know Luthen's backstory now, and that is he did work for the Empire. But I don't think he kills Jar Jar Binks. I hope not. I hope not. But there is a Gungan skull in Luthen's gallery in episode 10. Okay. There's one more thing I want to look at. This was an article that I pulled up for the live stream. Let's take a look at this. Before we get into the tier, we're going to do the tier list for the majority of the stream because it's going to take us a while to. There's a lot of Star Wars shows. A lot. So we'll get into it in a second. 10 ways that Andor season, or Andor just in general, the full 2 seasons of the show, changed the original trilogy. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I saved this for the live stream. I have not looked at this list. I don't know what the 10 ways are. It could be the worst list of all time. I don't know. We're going to go through it together, chat. We're going to do it together, okay? Okay. Andor is the perfect prequel to Rogue One, a Star Wars story, making it pretty much the greatest trilogy of all time with Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, and Rogue One. But there are also several ways that it changes the Star Wars original trilogy. More than any other franchise, Star Wars is unique in how it constantly backtracks to reveal more about the characters' backstories or the history behind major events. When done right, a Star Wars prequel can add new context to the original story and make it more enjoyable. We're going to talk about that quite a bit when we get to the Acolyte on our tier list. So many of you will be upset with me, but it'll be okay. The darker tone and long-form approach for Andor Season 2, Andor's second season, allowed the show to explore this era in the Star Wars timeline in greater depth. We know more about both sides of the Galactic Civil War, the beginnings of iconic storylines, and how some of the most crucial Star Wars characters became who they are. Here are 10 key aspects of the original trilogy carry new weights thanks to the brilliant storytelling of Andor. The entire series, that is. So the first one, number 10, is the Empire is far more terrifying. While the Empire has always been an imposing threat, the fun tone of some Star Wars projects can make the Imperials come across as silly or even, and over the top in their villainy. This is mostly referring to stuff like Star Wars Rebels. I mean, the Empire are the bad guys, obviously, but they're very goofy, funny, like the droids in the Clone Wars as well. Andor, meanwhile, makes the Empire truly terrifying. I mean, for reference, you got the stormtroopers murdering all the people on Gorman, which is just horrible. You got the whole stuff with Krennic, which is terrifying. Them, of course, the whole stuff with Bix on Mina Rao and killing Brazo, spoiler alert. Then you have, that's from season 1, but you still have that, actually, Dedra torturing people in season 1. K2 units, party gas, of course. It's scary, okay? More scary than ever. Number 9, the birth of the rebellion makes so much more sense now, giving us the backstory of the Empire to an extent. It's a lot. It's a lot of information, and giving us now characters like Luthen and Clea and Vel and Wilmot, those characters we didn't know about before. That gives us so much more context to not only Rogue One, but the original trilogy itself. Because now, when you watch A New Hope, there is no way you can watch it without thinking of how they got the Death Star plans. You know that Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor did that. And not only that, you know now how Cassian came to be and how that Yavin 4 base of all the rebels in A New Hope, how that came to be. Because of Luthen, because of Mon Mothma, because of Bail Organa, and what happens in Andor. I did have a super chat, so let's get to that real quick. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $10 holla. God damn, you guys are feeling generous this week. It's insane. Andor is S tier whenever we get there. We'll get there. But what is going to be your number 1? I can't reveal that right now. For me, it's still Mando Season 2. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. Let me go back. So number 9 is the birth of the rebellion makes so much more sense. Another faction that feels more authentic after Andor is the Rebel Alliance, which we got off to a very messy start. The series isn't afraid to tackle the reality of starting a rebellion, from ridiculous infighting between groups to individuals willing to do horrible things in the name of the cause, like Cassian, like Luthen, etc. This approach also allows for a natural progression of events to make the rebellion's eventual formation feel earned. Number 8, we know how the rebels first found Yavin. That was revealed in episodes 1 through 3 of this second season. Tell me in the chat right now. Actually, I'm going to put up a poll while we read the rest of this article really quickly. So if you haven't smashed a freaking like on the stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Go do that. But I want to put up this poll. Let's put up this poll. Which do you like more? Andor Season 1 or Andor Season 2? I've seen this debate going on online. And to me, Season 2 is like, I need a good analogy here. You know what? Actually, this is a perfect analogy. You know what it is? Andor Season 1 is A New Hope. And Andor Season 2 is The Empire Strikes Back. I think the majority of people would say The Empire Strikes Back is better, but some people would say A New Hope is better, and some people would also argue because of what A New Hope did, it makes it better. So I think that we're talking good versus good here. We're talking great versus great here. Andor Season 1 is great. Andor Season 2 is great. But the conversation online has been, what is better? And I just thought that Andor Season 2 was so much better than Season 1. Not to put down Season 1 because it's fantastic, but I think Season 2 is so much better. Tell me in the chat. Maybe I'm wrong. Empire Films, what's up? What is up? Okay. Charlie, how we doing? Okay. Well, let's get back to this list. So, finding out how we found Yavin, that's number 8. Number 7, we're getting a sense of just how evil Tarkin really is. We didn't know this before. Well, I guess we kind of knew this before, but we didn't really know this before. He landed his own shuttle on 500, this was confirmed, I guess, peaceful protesters, crushing them with his shuttle. Now, we don't see Tarkin at all in Andor Season 1 or Season 2. He is in Rogue One, and of course, he's in A New Hope, but his presence is felt throughout the course of this second season. You know? Really is. Number 6, Alderaan wasn't the first planet destroyed by the Death Star? What? Andor Season 2 made the Death Star even more terrifying by showing how many people suffered before it fired a single shot. Okay, so the argument here is that the Death Star itself, because of course it blows up Alderaan, the plans to create the Death Star killed a lot more people. The Gorman people, etc. I get it. Okay. A little shaky there, but I get it. Number 5, the rebellion was born in the Senate. This list is getting shakier and shakier. Number 4, Mon Mothma has become one of the best Star Wars characters. That's pretty high praise. I mean, she doesn't crack the top 30. Maybe even 50. Okay, number 3. Bail choose to go down swinging. Yeah, this is choice. Sorry, to go down. No, what is this list, chat? He dies on Alderaan. He doesn't swing shit. Okay, he dies on Alderaan. God. Number 2, we know now how much it costs. How much it costs just to get the Death Star plans. That's true. Okay, I'm liking this list a little bit more. We got a lot more of a backstory as to how difficult it was to get these Death Star plans. It wasn't just what happened in Rogue One. Now it's all the stuff with Clea and Luthen and Lonnie, this whole buildup of over 5 years in the Empire and getting that information. There you go. Doesn't crap the top. Chat, try to name. I could easily name you 50 characters right now that are better than Mon Mothma. Easily. Not that she's not a great character, but to talk about top 50? Come on. Mike, make your own list better than Screen Rant. I mean, we could, but that would take time away from what we're really here to do. Okay. Number 1, the award ceremony in A New Hope is bittersweet now. Okay. The award ceremony in A New Hope is one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars, a perfect happy ending to the wonderful film. However, it also feels a bit sad after Andor. Seeing just how many characters suffered and died to give Luke Skywalker his chance to destroy the Death Star, Luke and Han obviously deserve the credit for their actions, but Andor revealed just how many other rebels deserved to be on that stage to get medals. Well, the sad part about that is they're all dead. They can't really be there on that stage when they are literally dead. But that, okay, a solid list, I guess. Maybe I should vet these lists before we read them on live streams, but, that makes it more fun. Okay, now let's get into what we all came here for. Let's tier list all these damn things. Shall we? By the way, this poll, oh my God. Maybe it's recency bias. Maybe it's just the fact that this second season was so damn good. 92% of you say that season 2 of Andor is better than season 1, and I could not agree with you more. Yeah. Love how they brought in the Tarkin massacre into canon, but didn't go as far as to saying that it was a Star Destroyer. A shuttle makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't land a Star Destroyer in that little plaza area. Now, the tragedy of Bale saying he's going down fighting, but he sadly didn't, and it's tragic knowing this, and that was totally missed in the article. Yeah, I mean, Bale saying that he wants to go down swinging and then dying on Alderaan to the Death Star makes his death more brutal, more sad. But it doesn't make him go down swinging. Mike, Mon Mothma's top 50 character. Chat, do I have to name 50 characters? Let's do it, okay? 50 characters better than Mon Mothma right now, speed run. Ready? Luke, you guys got to keep track because I might say duplicates. Luke, how am I going to do this? We'll go original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and we'll go from there. Luke, Leia, Han, Lando, Chewie, R2, C-3PO, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader / Anakin. We'll make them one character. Palpatine. Wicket. Okay, we'll move on from the original trilogy for now. We'll come back to it. Tarkin. Okay, Tarkin's definitely there. 11. We're at 11 right now. Padme. Okay, Captain Rex, Ahsoka, Commander Cody, a bajillion Clone Wars characters here. Mace Windu. Did I say Yoda already? We're at 17. Yoda. I didn't say Yoda. 17 is Yoda. I said Mace Windu. Kit Fisto's definitely better. Plo Koon's definitely better, just from the Clone Wars alone. Thinking too niche now. I got to broaden my horizons. Jabba the Hutt, obviously. Boba Fett. Okay, Boba Fett is 21. Boba Fett, obviously. All right. Din Djarin, Grogu. I know I'm bouncing all over the place here. Din Djarin, Grogu, Fennec Shand, Cad Bane is 25. We're halfway there. Chopper. Okay, Rebels crew. Chopper, Ezra, Kanan, Hera. Sabine is 30. Zeb, 31. Grand Admiral Thrawn, 32. And I'm not doing this to put down Mon Mothma. She's a great character, okay? Cassian Andor, Jyn Erso, Luthen is 35. I'm missing so many easy ones here, chat. Somebody help me out. A Chimere, obviously. 36. I'd even put Master Soul, 37. What am I missing here? I'm missing a ton of shows. What shows am I missing? We're going to go over all of them right now. Oh, Bad Batch. Okay, so the entire Bad Batch. Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Echo, Omega. That's 42. Oh, Count Dooku? Jesus. General Grievous? Darth Maul? Oh my God, I'm missing big names here. I'm missing huge names. That's 45. We need 5 more here. I missed Darth Maul that long. He's my 3rd favorite freaking character. I'm missing enormous names here then. Who am I missing? Droopy McCool, I won't put him there, but just know he's there. Kylo Ren's obviously better. That's 46. Who am I missing here, Chad? I said Chewbacca already. All the Jedi. Okay. I said Mace. I need 4 more that are better than Mon Mothma. This is easy. I'm just not thinking. I'm not thinking the entire Skeleton Crew cast, but I won't do that. I'll grant Mon Mothma maybe being better than Jod and Fern and those. Qui-Gon Jinn. I didn't even say freaking Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn, absolutely, 47. Kelnaka, again, that's sort of iffy. Cinta, okay, again, a little bit iffy. Satine, I would probably put higher, but we'll give Mon Mothma the benefit of the doubt there. I feel like I'm missing really, really big names. Like really big. But you get the point. I just named easily off the top of my head 47 characters, and I probably can think of a few. Bo-Katan, okay, there you go, 48. Bo-Katan, easy. Keller and Beck, we don't have much of them, so I won't do that. Balin Skull, Shin Hati, that's 50 right there. Morgan Elsbeth, Barasafi, just keep on going. So I'm not doing that to say she's a bad character by any means, because she's not. R2-D2, did I not say R2-D2? B2, okay, sorry, B2. K2SO, there you go. Cal Kestis! Cal Kestis! Jeez. Paz Vizsla, Pre Vizsla. Okay, so that's sort of my point. You know? Off the top of my head, I can do that. She's a great character. Star Wars, like, to be a best character in to be in that top echelon of Star Wars, you know? It's not a Mon Mothma hate club. I love Mon, okay? Let's get to this tier list before we let's get to this tier list. Frog Lady, exactly. That's my point. Mike hates Mon Mothma. No, okay, tier list time. So here is what we're working with today, chat. I even put them in release order for you because I'm that awesome. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. From the Clone Wars all the way to Andor Season 2, we are ranking every single Star Wars seasons of Star Wars television from S tier to D tier. All of them. And I know we do this after pretty much every show that comes out, but there's a reason for it. Opinions change. When you rewatch a show, you either like it more or you hate it more. Or there's some shows that you've never seen before. For me, we're going to put Resistance actually on the list this time because I've seen Star Wars Resistance, finally, for once. So we're going to put all these in order on this tier list, starting from the very beginning. And all of these are single seasons. So like single seasons, except for our first one of the day, because the Clone Wars, I'm doing season 1 through 6. We're not going to do all 6 seasons. Season 7 will be on its own, but we're going to just do season 1 through 6 of Clone Wars. Where would you rate seasons 1 through 6 of Clone Wars? We're going in release order. This is actually the only Star Wars show on this list pre-Disney era. Now keep that in mind, because so many people go, oh, Disney ruined Star Wars, Star Wars, you know, that's what they sound like. And everything that we are going to rank on this list after this very first one, after Clone Wars season 1 through 6, is Disney Star Wars. Just keep it in mind. Just keep that in mind. So, where are we ranking Clone Wars season 1 through 6? Is it A tier? Is it S tier? Is it B tier? Is it C? Is it D tier? For me, with Clone Wars season 1 through 6, you have your bad episodes, your filler episodes, your not so good seasons. It's off to a very slow start with those first 2 seasons. Then it gets really good. Darth Maul comes back from the dead. Then you get these really great arcs of Mortis and the Umbara arc and all the stuff with the clones and getting to know these clones and Captain Rex in the Domino Squad and all this great stuff with Fives, learning about the inhibitor chips and dying before he can tell them, or they don't believe him because he dies. All that great stuff. Then it gets to season 5. And season 5 is like, oh my God, some of the peak of all peaks in Star Wars, and Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order. Spoiler alert. and all that stuff that has an effect on Anakin's fall to the dark side. That stuff is incredible. And that stuff is 100% S tier. Season 6 is a little bit of a fall off. It's Ahsoka's not really in it really much at all, or if at any. And it's Yoda going on that learning to become a Force ghost type deal. For those reasons, the balance of the two, it's still the highest of the highs are way better than the lowest of the lows. And I would say it's a low A tier. As we go along here, it'll be lower on the A tier, but it's A tier nonetheless. The Darth Maul stuff, the way that they brought him back from the dead, because everybody in the Star Wars universe craps on somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow Darth Maul returned. The only difference is the Darth Maul explanation is incredible and the execution is spectacular. And that's why Anakin, Ahsoka, Darth Maul, 3 of my favorite characters all time, favorite bounty hunters, Boba Fett, Cad Bane, all that stuff, all in those first 6 seasons of the Clone Wars. And the highest highs are peak, S tier all day long. And that even beats out the lowest of the lows. So A tier, starting out hot with the Clone Wars first 6 seasons. Now, we are going to move on to 4 straight seasons of Star Wars Rebels. Now, starting with season 1, we're going to take them individually. So every single season at a time. Starting with season 1, where would you rate Rebels season 1 on this tier list? Rebels season 1. Now, let me remind you, Rebels season 1 is not Darth Vader. It's not Grand Admiral Thrawn. It's not Darth Maul is back in the Twin Suns. It's not the grand finale of season 4. It's really just learning who these characters are. The big finale is the Grand Inquisitor. It's the Inquisitors chasing down the Jedi, not Vader, not Thrawn. It really is the worst season of Rebels. Not to say it's bad, but it's the worst season of Rebels by far. But it's establishing these characters, which is necessary as we're going to go through, and obviously it was necessary with the Clone Wars, but it's very necessary for this show and with the Bad Batch as well, as that comes up later on our list. So where are you rating it, chat? I see a lot of A tiers, B, maybe C, high B, okay. All Rebels is S tier. As much as I love Rebels, I disagree with that. There is no non-S tier for Rebels, okay. Make a poll for each show to vote. We can't do that. That would take too long. That would take way too long. Just say it in the chat. Yeah. The Clone Wars gets all 6 seasons in one rating, but not the others. The first 2 seasons of the Clone Wars were not good. Yeah, the only reason we did that is just because it's a lot easier for our ranking system here than just all 6 seasons doing them one at a time. Yeah. High B. Okay. High B. I agree with you guys that it's the worst season of them all. It's not better than the Clone Wars first 6 seasons. So it's immediately below this. But I think high B is a good spot for it. High B, and when we get some other Bs in there, it'll probably be higher than most of them. Absolutely. No F tier? No F tier. I mean, just plain and simple, I wouldn't put any of these in F tier, but D tier is definitely low enough. Okay. So now we're moving on to season 2. Now, season 2 of Rebels is interesting, to say the least. I'm very intrigued to see where you guys place this on the list, because it does have the Twilight of the Apprentice, 2 of the single greatest episodes of Star Wars content of all time. Easily. It's got Darth Maul, it's got Sith Temple, it's got Ahsoka versus Vader, it's got I Am No Jedi, it's got all the greatness. Season 2 has a lot of Vader. It's really the only time when he shows up. It reintroduces Ahsoka as Fulcrum, gives you Captain Rex back. It gives you so much great stuff. But it's still, I guess the first half of the season still has that feel of season 1. It still has that filler, getting to know these characters, still going on missions, side missions, sort of mission of the week type deal. And it hasn't hit its peak yet. However, it starts to by the end of the season. For those reasons, it's definitely higher than season 1. And I would even put it higher than Clone Wars 1 through 6. The end of that season is just spectacular. And I think I see a lot of you guys in the chat agreeing A. I see a ton of A's, actually. A couple B's, actually. But yeah, The Twilight of the Apprentice alone being one of the greatest episodes of all time puts it in that A tier by far. Okay, moving on to season 3 of Rebels. Now, this is where things get very, very interesting. Season 3 of Rebels. Season 3 and Season 4 are two of my favorite seasons of all time. So I rate them very, very highly. However, I want to see what you guys think. Where would you put Rebels Season 3? This is Maul versus Obi-Wan in the sand dunes of Tatooine. This is Grand Admiral Thrawn's introduction to canon in the Star Wars animation. This is the greatness of Ezra Bridger's fall to the dark side after Kanan Jarrus gets injured by Darth Maul at the end of Season 2. Where do we rank Season 3 of Andor? I'm sorry, Andor. Sorry. Season 3 of Rebels. My brain is broken, Chad. I see some S tiers. A, high A's. Peak Star Wars. Yes. High A. S. All right. Bunch of S's. It's S for me. I mean, it might be lower than some of the other S tiers that come into play later on in this video or in this live stream. But to me, Grand Admiral Thrawn, because he's such an incredible character that's not a Force user, he's one of the most integral villains in Star Wars, and he's not a Force user. He's one of the only ones, really, that goes up against Force users on a daily basis. So he really is that good. And introducing him in Season 3 is fantastic, giving us all that stuff with sort of the occupation of Lothal, which we get into a lot more in Season 4, but the Rebels coming together and seeing even Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera in that season as well, getting all that stuff. That's what makes that season so good. And to put the cherry on top, you get to see Maul die in the greatest way possible with the showdown. Twin Sons episode, one of the greatest episodes all time. So that's why S tier, no questions asked. Now, Season 4. I'm very intrigued to see where you guys put Season 4. Obviously, you have the great end of Ezra with the Purrgil hopping into hyperspace with Thrawn. And now, because of Ahsoka, we know what happens with that. They're on Peridia in a different galaxy. And what that adds to the Star Wars lore is insane. But Kanan Jarrus' death. That alone is just like break your heart. Like that, to me, that scene, that episode is on the same level of how I felt at the end of episodes 8 and 9 of Andor Season 2. Like, that's how good that is. Absolutely. Space Whales equals S. Bunch of S's. I see a B tier. Wow. B. 3 and 4 are the best. Okay, here's the question. Don't talk about Kanan. Here's the question. Is it better than Season 3? Is Season 4 better than Season 3? World Between Worlds, of course. The World Between Worlds can go one of two ways. People really don't like it or people really love it. I love it. I mean, it's such a great concept. In the world of Star Wars, where you have all these weird things like Yoda's species or the Mortis gods or all these crazy stuff. I mean, what do we think? Is it better or worse than Season 3? For me, it's equal, not greater. Well, that can't happen. We can't put them on top of each other. We have to put one in front of the other. I personally think Season 4 is better than 3. 4 is better than 3 for me, but they're very close. Okay. By far better. Okay. Let's not put them against each other. They have to. Head-to-head, showdown to the death. Who is better? I'm going Season 4 is better than Season 3. That's where I'm going. We'll leave it at that for now. If we think we should change it, we'll leave it there for now. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Resistance. Now, we have yet to hit a live-action show. And we are going to right after this Resistance. But this is I guess I lied. This is the only other one that's all 4 seasons of Resistance. Or, no, sorry. Resistance is only 2 seasons. My fault. All 2 seasons of Star Wars Resistance. Where do we rate Star Wars Resistance? Honestly, to me, Star Wars Resistance, you guys tried to get me to watch for so long, literally years probably, where you guys have been saying, Mike, you got to watch it. It's not as bad as people say. It's all right. It's not great, but it's all right. And that's exactly what it was. It's like the first season of Rebels, but worse. Worse animation, worse characters. And it's not really until the end of season 2 where it gets really, really good with the whole Kylo Ren stuff and the Phasma stuff. And that's when it gets real good. Season 2 is far better than season 1. But does it deserve the D tier? I don't know. I think it should be at least in that high D tier or low C, like down here. It's not like I had to shut it off because it was so bad. You know? But it's definitely not even close to being in the same conversation as any of these things up here. So I feel like we got to put a gap in between just to sort of show that there is that gap. I think D tier is a good spot for it, but let's not forget it's a D plus. Okay, put some respect on its name. It's a D plus. It's not the worst thing to ever exist in the history of my eyeballs, but it's definitely not even close to being the best. Okay. Now we move to live action for the first time on this list, and it starts with a freaking bang. Disney Plus needs to have this epic launch, okay? And that epic launch needs a Star Wars show. So what should we do? Let's get Dave Filoni to team up with Jon Favreau to create The Mandalorian. Now, we're just taking Mando Season 1. Just Mando Season 1. Where do you rate Mando Season 1? This is the introduction of Grogu. I was going to say Baby Yoda, but that's wrong. We all know that. Din Djarin, Grogu, IG-11 giving us this whole new world of Greef Karga and Cara Dune and this whole backwater bounty hunting post-original trilogy Star Wars universe. Teasing at Boba Fett, giving us Fennec Shand, introducing great new characters. I mean, Din and Grogu are legacy characters beyond belief now. They're getting their own movie. And this kickstarted it all. We have to put into effect here not only the seasons themselves, but their effects on the Star Wars universe, their effects in the Star Wars community as well. And The Mandalorian Season 1 specifically has the biggest impact. It's right after the sequel trilogy. The fandom is spiraling out of control. And Disney Plus drops, and it needs a win. And that's Andor Season 1. I see a lot of A's in the chat. I see a couple S's. A bunch of high A's. To me, I would put it in low S because of what it does for the Star Wars universe. Because without Mando, and even Tony Gilroy has been saying this for the last couple weeks, without Mando, Season 1, there's no Andor. There's probably none of this. There's no Andor. There's no Skeleton Crew. There's no Acolyte. There's no Ahsoka. There's no Book of Boba Fett. There's no Kenobi series. Without this first season of The Mandalorian being a success, being that good, there's nothing else. And for those reasons, it's an S tier. And not even just that, it's spectacular. Go back and rewatch Mando Season 1. You won't blink. You'll stare at the screen the entire time because visually it's stunning, story-wise it's incredible, and it introduces Grogu, which is just, I mean, come on. And with that, S tier all day long. Now, Clone Wars Season 7. Clone Wars Season 7. Let's cast our minds back a second here, okay? The year is 2020. The world has just spiraled out of control into this pandy. Okay? The Mandalorian Season 1 just launched at the end of 2019 to kickstart Disney Plus. The next project is the Clone Wars Season 7. It's been 7 years since Clone Wars Season 6 has been released. Or, no, more than that. 8 years? 8 years since the Clone Wars Season 6 released. Fans have been waiting for this. What happened to Ahsoka? Where does she go? There has to be more story with her. She doesn't show up in the prequels. She doesn't show up in the originals. What happens to Ahsoka Tano? What happens to Darth Maul? You just brought back this iconic character. What happens to him? And the answers to those questions were some of the most peak Star Wars to ever exist. Now, the problem with season 7 is the middle arc. The first arc gives us Anakin, gives us Obi-Wan, feels like the Clone Wars, and introduces the Bad Batch, setting up the next series, which we'll rank very, very soon, but setting up the Bad Batch. And the Bad Batch is great. That first arc is fantastic. It's action-packed. It's Mace Windu. It's Obi-Wan, and they're swinging lightsabers. It's Anakin Skywalker being all badass. It's great. But it's that middle arc. Is it Martinez sisters? I think it's Martinez sisters. The Martinez sisters. I get it. You have to explain what happened to Ahsoka after she leaves the Order. What is she up to now? All that stuff. Set up the Siege of Mandalore. Set up all the Bo-Katan and Darth Maul on Mandalore. I get that. It's the filler episodes. It's really the filler episodes that we see from the first 6 seasons. It's the stuff with the droids. It's the stuff with just random side arcs and just Ahsoka going off and doing whatever. That's what it is. It's consistent because that's what the first 6 seasons of the Clone Wars also had, but it does drag it down a little bit. Because when you look at the Clone Wars season 7 versus our other S tiers here, because it's definitely S tier, let's not get that twisted. It's S tier, and I see a ton of S's here. But it's the question of where does it go? I do put it above The Mandalorian season 1, but does it go above both these seasons of Rebels? Is it better than Rebels season 4? Here's the deal. Is the Siege of Mandalore probably better than every single arc in these 2 seasons? Yes. I'm not crazy. However, I'm a little crazy because the consistency of season 4 of Star Wars Rebels, the fact that every single episode in that 4th season is just straight banger, puts it and keeps it above Clone Wars season 7. Just slightly, because it doesn't have that lull. It doesn't have a mid-season drought of the Martinez sisters. So I put it slightly below Rebel season 4. Because every episode of Rebel season 4 is just straight up banger. And that's why it's there. But don't get me wrong, Siege of Mandalore might be the greatest arc of any animated Star Wars project. Trying to think of any better off the top of my head. I don't know. Is it the best, Chad? Is it the best? It might just be. It might just be. Okay. But that brings us to The Mandalorian season 2. And forget everything that I said about all these other shows because this is better than all of it. And that, I think, is something we might be able to all agree on. And Mando season 2, where do we rank it on this list? I know a lot of people's complaints about Mando season 2 is the fact that it relies so much on cameos. But here's the deal. You got a season where you take the greatness of Mando season 1 and add the Mandalorian lore. And I mean the real Mandalorian lore from the Clone Wars, the stuff with Bo-Katan and the Darksaber. You add all that with Moff Gideon having said Darksaber, which was revealed at the end of season 1 of Mando. You have all that. And now you add this journey of Din Djarin trying to get Grogu back to his people, the Jedi. And in doing so, he crosses paths with Ahsoka Tano, giving us a live-action, first ever live-action appearance of Ahsoka Tano in episode 5 of season 2 called The Jedi. Arguably one of the greatest episodes in live action. That episode gives us live-action Ahsoka, gives us Morgan Elsbeth, gives us all that stuff. And then she's like, I can't train him. That leaves us on a cliffhanger of why the hell can't she train him? We'll talk about that when we get to Ahsoka. But because of her master and all that turning into Darth Vader, we know that. But it caps off with Luke freaking Skywalker coming in all badass, slicing and dicing the Dark Troopers. I have the Funko Pop behind me that says Dark Trooper holding Grogu, so that's how I remember. Dark Troopers, not Death Troopers, Dark Troopers. Slicing and dicing the Dark Troopers, and even Moff Gideon being so afraid of Luke Skywalker that he tries to off himself before he even gets to the bridge. That is just peak of all peak. And you put all those pieces together, even with filler episodes like Frog Lady and The Bill Burr episode, which is great, but it's still sort of a connecting piece, sort of a filler episode, if you will. Even with those couple episodes that are not the greatest, it is better than all of this. Better than all of this by far. And yes, it's cameo, but it's cameos for story purposes. It's not just throwing in Luke Skywalker for no reason going, hey, here's Luke Skywalker. Fantastic. No, that's not what's happening here. It's throwing in Luke Skywalker because that's the plot. The plot is Din Djarin getting Grogu back to his people, and that's what he does. So I don't think I'll be met with many arguments when I put that right at the top right there. I don't think that's really a bold take by any means. But you tell me in the chat. Grogu eats the eggs. That's true. That's true. That is true. Okay. They could have put any other Jedi in, like Plo Koon. Well, Plo Koon dies in a fiery explosion. We see that with our own two eyes during Order 66. So I don't know about that. And it can't really be any Jedi because there's not many at the time at this point in the galaxy. Lee says, I prefer Luke kicking ass than drinking green alien walrus milk. I mean, some people like that a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit. Okay, moving on. Back to animation. We have the start of the next multi-season animated series called The Bad Batch. So where would we rank The Bad Batch Season 1? Now, let me give you a quick refresher on what Season 1 pertained of. Season 1 is very similar to Rebel Season 1. It's a lot of getting to know these characters. We meet Omega for the first time, and we have to sort of learn who that is, get some sort of mission of the week type stuff. But I will say the destruction of Kamino is great in the finale, and the premiere is pretty much a movie. It's about an hour and a half long. It's right after Order 66. It's the how the Bad Batch Clone Force 99 has to deal with Order 66. It's Caleb Dume, Kanan Jarrus's perspective of Order 66 and how he survived it. So that first episode kicks us off on this great note with episode 1 and sets us up for a great series because the Bad Batch is really, really good. Don't get me wrong, it's really good. Season 1, though, without that, or I guess not without it, but that beginning is really good. The ending is really good. It's the 16 episodes or whatever it is, 15 episodes in the middle that are all just development for these characters. Omega specifically, but all these different characters. It's important because come season 3, which we'll get to later, that is necessary. Knowing who these characters are, having this emotional connection to these characters is very, very important. But that doesn't make season 1 good or better than it should be. Although it is important and necessary, where do we rank season 1 of The Bad Batch? Low A or high B? Okay. It's still quality, but not super engrossed with the story yet. So low A at best for me. A minus. Okay, we're all sort of in an A, low A's, high B's type situation. It looks like. I see some S tiers or high A's. I see some high. Yeah. Low A, S plus. Okay. Order 66 and The Bad Batch was great. True, but we can't take the one episode and put that like that's not the whole season. There's still 15 episodes after that make the season a whole. You know? I think I see a lot of A's, and I agree. I think it's a low A, lower than Clone Wars' first 6 seasons. The high of those 6 seasons is far better than even the highs of Bad Batch Season 1. So I think low A, you could argue high B, but I think low A is a better spot for Bad Batch Season 1. Now, we're about to go to Visions Season 1. And as you guys know, I'm not the biggest Visions fan. But tell me in the chat, where do you rate Visions Season 1? To me, it looks like they're learning from their mistakes with Season 3 of Visions, which comes out later this year. And that is, do the good ones. Do the good ones. Season 1 has really good episodes. Ronin, The Ninth Jedi, the Twins, all those that are getting sequels in Season 3 because they are the good episodes. Then you have, like, I don't even remember what they're called. the Cantina band on Tatooine episode with weird Jabba the Hutt in Boba Fett. Like, what is that? Then you have just really, really odd, weird, doesn't work episodes. So I see a lot of C's, actually a lot of S's too. The weird part about this is that it goes with visions very different ways. You either really, really love anime, which I do. I mean, I like anime. But you really like anime and you really love this version of Star Wars, and it is Legends, but you really love this version of Star Wars, or you don't like it. And I'm a big canon guy, as you guys know. So it's Legends. It's some episodes are really, really good, like the Ronin stuff, but it peaks in episode 1. It peaks in episode 1. It's not better than anything else other than maybe Resistance that we have here on this list. I put it in a high C, but I'm putting it in C nonetheless. So Visions Volume 1 is in C for now. It's a fun experience, absolutely, but it's not for everybody. And it's got some pretty low lows. Pretty low lows. Yeah. Now we got the Book of Boba Fett. I'm very intrigued to see where you guys put the Book of Boba Fett. Very intrigued. Where would you rank the Book of Boba Fett? It's a very controversial one, to say the least. Very controversial. Talk about lowest of lows and highest of highs. Episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett is arguably the best episode. Like, not one of the best episode in live action. I say one of the best quite a bit, because one of the best is an argument to be had. It might be the best. From the Desert Comes a Stranger. Luke Skywalker training Grogu, Cad Bane's first ever live action appearance, Ahsoka and Luke, Din Djarin going to visit Luke's Jedi Temple, the construction of Luke's Jedi Temple, and then, of course, finishing off with a showdown between Cad Bane and Cobb Vanth in the desert. An awesome sort of Western-style showdown. And that's a high, like a really, really, really big high. But it does have its real big lows. People do not like the fact that he's Beta Fett or not as badass as he was in even The Mandalorian Season 2 or in the original trilogy. I think a lot of what happens with the character of Boba Fett is people just look at him in the original trilogy where he has like 2 lines and he doesn't say anything and he's all badass because he's wearing a mask, and people love that. They love the mystery about the character. And when he came to be a real living character, people didn't like it. Especially when he became a good guy. Now, you have to put into effect a few things. One, he already exists in the Clone Wars as this kid who doesn't want to be the bad guy. If you go back and watch all the Boba Fett stuff in the Clone Wars, and he's being trained by all these different bounty hunters like Aura Singh, she's trying to make him like kill people and murder all these people. He doesn't want to do that. He just wants revenge on Mace Windu for what he did to his dad, but he doesn't want to kill people. He doesn't want to kill innocent people. He's really a good kid until he gets really, I guess, forced into being a bounty hunter. But he gets coerced into being a bad guy. And he's always this sort of lighthearted clone. He's a clone. He's the clone. And the craziest part to me is people don't really understand that he dies to an extent. He dies. And he has a near-death experience. And that changes people, especially the fact that this takes place 5 years after he falls into the Sarlacc pit. People forget that too. The amount of time he spends with the Tuskens on Tatooine is not really conveyed well in the show. Because he crawls out of that Sarlacc pit almost immediately, or a few moments after the events of Return of the Jedi, after the events of Jabba's sail barge. He crawls out of that Sarlacc pit, and he immediately gets taken by the Tusken Raiders. 5 years later, he gets his own show. He shows up in the Mandalorian Season 2. 5 years. So 5 years in the desert. 5 years learning to be a family with these Tusken Raiders. 5 years after a near-death experience. Yeah, that's going to change you. That's going to change the way he looks at life. That's going to change the way Boba Fett exists, okay? Yeah. But for some reason, people don't like that. They want the mysterious, says 2 lines in his own show type character. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's 2 very separate characters because of this near-death experience, because of this 5 years he spends with a family and that family getting slaughtered. That's very, very different. It's a very different character. But for those reasons, I think a lot of people look down on the Book of Boba Fett so much more. And yes, the 2 best episodes happen to not have Boba in them at all. That's a whole other point for a whole other time. But even still, those 2 best episodes with Din Djarin getting his M1 Starfighter and From the Desert Comes a Stranger are 2 incredible episodes, and they exist in the Book of Boba Fett. Who cares if Boba's not in them? They still exist in the Book of Boba Fett, meaning that show has those episodes in it, and those episodes are really damn good. So no, I can't put Book of Boba Fett in D tier or even C tier. It's better than that. It's better than Rebels Season 1. It is 100%. Now I would not put it up here in this. I mean, maybe it's in the same conversation as Bad Batch Season 1, but I put it in high B, low A. I'll go high B. I'll go high B. I'll go high B. But I'd maybe put it in low A. Yeah. And if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to sway your opinion in any way, but I would suggest going back and rewatching that show. I think with Boba Fett specifically, a lot of fans almost misremember. They hear online, oh yeah, Boba Fett sucked. Beta Fett. Bad, 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 bad. And then you think, okay, yeah, that was bad. But when you go back and watch it, when you really go back and watch it, and you see that progression of the flashbacks with the Tuskens on Tatooine, and the real reason he wants to be that leader of Tatooine, because that family he created over the 5 years he spent there after a near-death experience, then you sort of appreciate that story a little bit more, and then you get the peak of Din getting his N1 Starfighter and Luke Skywalker and all that great stuff. And Cat Bane in live action. So I'm a lot higher on the Book of Boba Fett. I know a lot of people aren't, so your list will be a little bit different than mine. And I will be sending this tier list to the Discord after this live stream, so you can make your own tier list. I'll do that in the Discord after this live stream. So if you're not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. Yeah. Okay. So that's where I put Book of Boba Fett. For now, things may change. Now we have the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Think about that for a second. Hang on. Rewind the tapes. Back to back to back here. We have the Book of Boba Fett, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and Andor Season 1. All 3 projects that were met with very diverse answers to the question, is this good? Well, let me rephrase. It divided the Star Wars fandom quite a bit. Every single project, the Book of Boba Fett, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and Andor, all divided the Star Wars fandom in drastic different ways. And they all came out in sort of the same year. Book of Boba Fett started in 2021, and then the rest of them came out in 2022. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi, where would you rate this one? This one's very all over the place, too. I see an F, a D, an A, a B, an A. It's really all over the place. I really like the last confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader. Me too. The Kenobi Patterson cut movie makes it an A tier. Interesting. I have watched that. It is pretty good. I think the problem that the Kenobi series had was it was originally created to be a movie. And it probably should have been a movie. A lot of the early episodes are some stuff that's just fluff. Like, it should be cut. A lot of the stuff with Reva, I'm not the biggest Reva hater in the world. I do think her character takes away from the most important piece of the story, which is Obi-Wan and Anakin, or Vader for that matter. But a lot of her stuff could be cut, and that's why I think when Patterson or Pattinson, when he created that cut of Kenobi where it's just one movie instead of 6 episodes of a show, I think it works better because a lot of that stuff is just cut out. But I will say, again, the highest of highs, that finale, that rematch of the century, it delivered. It delivered so much more than I ever thought it would. That is now one of the most iconic scenes in Star Wars. It's really the perfect middle piece because you have the final confrontation in A New Hope. You have that Mustafar battle, which is just incredible. And now you have this middle piece, this rematch of the century. The dialogue is what makes the fight on Mustafar. Yes, you have the most incredible lightsaber sequence with the just swinging blades really, really fast. It's great. But it's the dialogue that makes it what it is. Everybody can quote that word for word. The same can be said about this fight in Kenobi. The dialogue is what makes it incredible. It's Anakin's gone, and it's switching between James Earl Jones's voice and Hayden Christensen's voice, and it's so perfect. It even goes from him calling him Anakin. I'm sorry, Anakin. I'm sorry, Anakin, whatever. I failed you. And then Anakin's gone. I'm what remains. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. All that stuff. And then he goes, then my friend is truly gone. Goodbye, Darth. This is a really cool detail that many people don't really even acknowledge. He calls him Anakin throughout the entire prequel trilogy. He calls him Anakin all the way up until he battles him in Kenobi. But in the original trilogy, Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan calls Darth Vader Darth. Not Anakin, Darth. And now the reasoning for that is because of this conversation that is had, the dialogue that is had after this rematch of the century. And it is chef's kiss perfection. So for those reasons, it definitely pushes this show really, really high up. I think the young Leia stuff even is really, really good. It adds more to the Leia character. It adds more to the reason she actually named her child Ben and why she's calling out to Obi-Wan and being so cryptic about, you served my father once in the Clone Wars, and how she has to keep that a secret and all that stuff. It adds to the original trilogy and A New Hope a lot, giving a connection between these two characters that we never knew happened before. And it stays with the canon. It doesn't change anything too drastically. So it has its lows with Reva and the Leia chase scene in the first couple episodes. And that sort of doesn't really make sense. It has its fluff. But episode 3, when they first interact and they have that first sort of mini lightsaber duel and he drags him through the fire, it's great. He's snapping necks, walking down the village or whatever it is. And then, of course, the rematch of the century. So it's a very difficult thing to place, this Obi-Wan Kenobi series. That rematch of the century does drag it up past D easily, past C easily, past B maybe. It's, again, I think it's better than Book of Boba Fett. I do. That rematch of the century, it's so damn good. And of course, it's Obi-Wan, it's Anakin, it's Vader, it's the main characters of Star Wars. Not that Boba Fett isn't one, but he's definitely not Obi-Wan or Anakin. I think it's got to go higher than the Bad Batch Season 1, right? I mean, it's better than the Bad Batch Season 1 by far. So now you're up in this conversation of mid-A's. Is it better than the Clone Wars Season 1 through 6? Is it better? What do we think, chat? Is the Obi-Wan Kenobi series better than Clone Wars Season 1 through 6? Not 7, 1 through 6. No. It's definitely not better than Rebels Season 2. I'll give you that much. But is it better than Clone Wars Season 1 through 6? I say above Boba. It's definitely above Boba. Oh, but you're saying like here or here? I think it's better. It's definitely better than Bad Batch Season 1. So it's not better than... Okay, so right there's good. I think that is a good spot. Because, yeah, Clone Wars Season 1 through 6, like we've talked about before, you got the Mortis God arc, you got the Darth Maul stuff, you get just great character development for all those characters. And, of course, Ahsoka Tano. I think that does definitely beat that for sure. Karaoke Ken says, Clone Wars is hands down the best, with Andor being a close second. Okay. Again, I'm going to send this to the Discord after. Hang on. Someone's calling me. Like you home. Hang on. Hang on, chat. So today, the reason we are late today, actually, let me pull this up. So today, the reason we're late today, chat, I know you guys were like, Mike, why are you late? I told the Discord, today, Samantha, the real brains behind the operation over here, the person you guys would rather be listening to right now than me, talk about these Star Wars shows. Samantha graduated from college. So that's where I was this morning, celebrating all day for Samantha. She might actually make a appearance here later. She said she might make it. She said she might make it. She said she might. So maybe a guest star appearance of Samantha later. So yeah, get some congratulations to Samantha in the chat, please. But that's why the live stream was late today. Sorry. Okay. We had some important things to cover. Okay, getting back to the tier list. Getting back to the tier list. Okay. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Andor Season 1. Now, very similar to Bad Batch Season 1, Rebels Season 1, these arguments that I had for those shows, Andor Season 1 is incredible, okay? Don't get me wrong. The Eye, Narkina 5, all the stuff with Marva in the final arc, it's fantastic. The writing, the directing, it's all great. But in reality, the introduction of the characters of Clea, of Luthen, of Bix, of Vel, of Cyril, Dedra, all those characters, they're really just being set up for Season 2 and Season 1. Season 1's great. It's absolutely great. But the reason that this poll in the chat currently right now sits at a 85% of you saying that Andor Season 2 is better is because, whoa, wrong thing. It is. Because the setup of Season 1 makes Season 2 so much better. The payoff of that continuation. It's the same thing that can be said about Clone Wars Season 7. It's the same thing that'll be said about the Bad Batch Season 3. It's the same thing that'll be said about Mando Season 2. What makes these last seasons or second seasons or third seasons better is because the first season sets up and executes these characters' arcs perfectly. And Andor Season 2 is the king of all kings in terms of Season 1s because it sets up all these characters perfectly for Season 2, sets it up so that we are so emotionally attached to when Bix leaves Cassian in Season 2, to when Cyril dies in the Gorman Massacre, when Luthen dies saving the rebellion and giving the Death Star plans to the rebellion. Season 1 is the setup to making us cry and feel so emotional, goosebumps, you name it, all the emotions pumping through us in Season 2. And that's what Season 1 does. It's S tier easily, but now we have a conversation to have. Is it better than Mando Season 1? Is it better than Rebels Season 3? Is it better than the Clone Wars Season 7? Is it better than Rebels Season 4? To me, it is not better than Mando Season 1. Andor Season 2, on the other hand, well, we'll get to that later. But Andor Season 1, where does it sit here? What do we think, chat? What do we think, chat? The Narkina arc was so real and brutal, more impactful than the Gorman, in my opinion. I disagree for the reason that the Gorman arc was set up across, 8 episodes, and the Narkina stuff wasn't, It's a little bit different there. I get what you're saying, the whole prison break and stuff of fight against the Empire, and then the reveal of it being the Death Star that was what they're creating. That's all great. But, yeah. Mid-A for Andor. Andor. Mon Mothma makes an S plus. What? What?
Incorrect.
I think it's better than Mando Season 1. I do. But the conversation gets very iffy around these animated series. I will say it's better than Rebels Season 3. Is it better than the Clone Wars Season 7? Is anything in this Andor Season 1 better than the Siege of Mandalore? What do we think? Luthen's speech about sacrifice was very powerful. Yes, it was indeed. So it's better than the Siege of Mandalore? Yes, no. Okay, we got some yeses and some nos. You kids don't know what acting is? Okay. Valid. Sorry. Made me laugh. Rebel Season 3 is better. Honestly, you catch me on a good day, I'd agree with you, but I don't know. Yeah. From an objective standpoint, it's the best Star Wars we've ever gotten. Okay, so you just pretty much contradicted yourself in the same sentence. From an objective standpoint, I'm going to give my personal belief. It's just not better than the Siege of Mandalore. It's just not. I love it. Don't get me wrong. It's just not. It's just not. However, I'm going to put it higher anyway. The reason I put it higher is the same reason I put this lower than than Rebel Season 4. The lower parts of Clone Wars Season 7 are worse than the lower parts of Rebel Season 1. Of Andor Season 1. Because Andor Season 1, yes, those first 3 episodes are really slow. But it picks up really quickly with the next 3, with Aldhani and with Narkina 5. So I think that's where it belongs to be. It's not better than Rebel Season 4. It's just not. Rebel Season 4 is far better. They're in the same conversation, but it's like Rebels is beyond the VIP ropes, and Andor's trying to get in. You know? It's trying to get in. Yeah. Critically acclaimed. It's critically acclaimed. You know what else is critically acclaimed? The Clone Wars Season 7. You know that all episodes of the Siege of Mandalore are rated higher than maybe all of the episodes of Andor Season 1? Hang on, I got to fact check that. Hang on, chat. Fact checking time. Clone Wars Season 7 IMDb. Clone Wars Season 7 IMDb. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, I was right. 9.7, 9.8, 9.8, 9.9. Like, we're not having... Wait, this isn't even the same conversation here. This 4-episode arc is better than every single episode of Andor Season 1. And they're not in the same room. They're not even in the same conversation. However, the reason that I do put Andor Season 1 still higher than Rebels Season 7, damn it, Clone Wars Season 7, is because of these firsts. Because of these first, 8 episodes? Because of these first 8 episodes. Because the Bad Batch are great, don't get me wrong. This stuff is really filler. So yeah, this is far better than Clone Wars, than Andor Season 1. But as a whole, Andor Season 1 is better. Okay. And that's why Andor Season 1 sits right here, only below 2 projects currently. And those projects are Mando Season 2 and Rebel Season 4, where it belongs. Moving on, we have what came out in the middle of Andor to save the Andor fans, which I absolutely hate because it's not boring at all. Tales of the Jedi. Where do we rate Tales of the Jedi, chat? Oh, wait, I didn't add Tales of the Underworld to this list. Hang on. Rate Tales of the Jedi right now, but I got to add Tales of the Underworld. I forgot to do that. Tales of the Underworld. Crap. Damn it, chat. Okay. Tales of the Jedi, chat. This is Ahsoka, Count Dooku, 6 episodes, giving Count Dooku's fall to the dark side. Where do we put this show? Add Tales of the Underworld. Okay, perfect. Throw that in there. S, a lot of S's. Low A, S, S, A, low A, high A. S, A or B, A, okay. All right, so we got a lot of these Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Underworld. Of those 3, Tales of the Jedi is still probably the best. I think the best arc total is the Count Dooku arc. I think the 2 arcs of Ventress and Bane in Underworld is better than the total of Jedi. But that's just, they're very close. So the Dooku arc itself, showing the faults of the dark side, Yaddle versus Dooku, all that stuff is incredible. Him training Qui-Gon in the earlier episodes is fantastic. The Ahsoka arc is cool. It shows her versus the Inquisitor, which is great. Becoming Fulcrum, joining the rebellion is great. Showing how she survived Order 66, how Anakin trained her to do so is cool. But it's the Dooku stuff that carries that Tales of the Jedi. It really is. And the Dooku stuff is peak. I mean, it's incredible. It's some of the best Star Wars to ever exist. And when you say that in a sentence, that only means one thing, and that means S tier. I'm going to put it at the bottom of S tier, though. Because it's only 6 episodes, because those episodes are only 15 minutes long, I love Dooku. I love him to death. And I love Ahsoka. But it's not better than the 8 episodes of Mando Season 1. It's not better than all this stuff that sits in front of it. It's S tier, absolutely S tier, but it's low S tier. Right there. Right then and there. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Had to answer that. So, next on the list is the Bad Batch Season 2. Now, I'm very intrigued to see where you guys put the Bad Batch Season 2. Because to me, Tech's death is great. I mean, it's horrible, but it's great. Storytelling-wise, it's great. And the finale of that second season is great. But it's very, very similar to Season 1. Oh my God, Jordan Rennie in the house. Jesus Christ. Jordan Rennie with a $50 holla. Holy crap. Says, what does it say? Oh, been drinking. They're all S tier, though? Well, that's pretty high praise, but you've been drinking. Don't give him access to money. He's going to be sending me too much super chats. Jordan, you're cut off. No, I appreciate you, Jordan. Welcome to the stream. Okay, where will we put the Bad Batch Season 2? Bad Batch Season 2. Where will we put it? A, S tier. Okay. High A. Again, it sets up the 3rd season great because you have so much more of an emotional connection to Omega and all these other characters as well. And that finale is great with Tech's demise. Sid is the worst, especially in Season 2. She's the one who screws them over in the end in Season 2. That's why she is the worst. That's why Sid is the worst around this channel. The people who love Star Wars know that Sid is the worst. It's better than Season 1 of The Bad Batch, for sure. But it's in this same conversation. For me, it's not an S tier project. It's not in the same realm as these projects that we have currently up at S tier. But is it better than the 6 seasons of the Clone Wars? No. Is it better than even Kenobi? No, it's not better than that final fight in the Kenobi series. It's not better than the rematch of the century. For those reasons, I put it above Season 1, but not by much. It sits right there in sort of a middle A-ish area. Middle to low A. Sid is greater than Mon Mothma? No. Sid does not crack the top 50. Mon Mothma maybe cracks the top 50. Okay? Never. Yes, 2 and 3 are better than 1. True. Season 3 of The Bad Batch, we'll get to that when we get to it, okay? Next on the list, we have The Mandalorian Season 3. Rank it in the chat, but here's the deal. I know what's going to happen. The Mandalorian Season 3 is going to get this massive amount of hate in the comment section right now. But here's the deal. I think it's in the same conversation as the Book of Boba Fett. In terms of people look down upon it so much because of what came before it. It is not better than The Mandalorian Season 2 by any means. Not even close. And it's not better than Season 1 either. However, I think what people don't like about The Mandalorian Season 3 is that it's not Season 2. And that's very hard to do. When you peak really hard with Season 2, it's hard to combat that with a 3rd season that's even better. And they couldn't accomplish that. So what I really love about Season 3 is the Mandalorian stuff. It's the end of this wicked long arc that we have for the Mandalorians and Mandalore from the Clone Wars and Rebels, really. It's this 30, 40-ish year arc that's finally getting a close with Bo-Katan, the Darksaber, Moff Gideon, the Empire, Mandalore being turned to glass, the Mythazar, getting all that stuff to finally come to a close. After 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, 4 seasons of Star Wars Rebels, that arc is over with Mando Season 3. And they end it in this awesome epic battle between the Empire and Mandalorians with Bo-Katan leading the way with a Darksaber in hand. It's awesome. It's so awesome. So I like Mando Season 3 a lot more than other people do. It's not in the S tier conversation. It's just not. It maybe you could put it in this A tier conversation with the Bad Batch couple seasons here. It's not better than Kenobi. It's probably around this low A, maybe high B. It's better than Boba Fett. It's better than Boba Fett, but I put it around here somewhere in this conversation. What do we think, chat? Where should it be? Above the Bad Batch Season 1 and 2? Below the Bad Batch Season 1 and 2? In between the Bad Batch Season 1 and 2? What do we think? Andy K with a very generous $6 holla. $7 holla says, these rankings are, what? These rankings was me when folks trash any story. What? I don't think that's English, Andy K. I don't think that's English. Maybe I can't read, but that's, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can't read, but that's not English. We need Samantha to talk some sense into you. Well, I don't know where she is, okay? I don't know where she is. Maybe she can smack some sense into me. Yeah, the Mythazar. Mythazar was great. I say below them. Below Season 2, above Season 1. The highs in Season 3 of Boba Fett are better, you know? We want Sam. Let me text her. Chat. I get it. You don't even care about me anymore. I get it, chat. I get it, you know. Chat wants you. There. Happy? Are you happy now? Okay. Next on the list, we have Visions Volume 2. Now, here's the reality of the situation, chat. I think Season 1 of Visions was far better than Season 2. And right now we have Visions Volume 1 at a C tier. I don't think it is D tier. I don't think it's in the same. I think it's better than Resistance, for sure. There's great episodes in Season 2. But Season 1 is better. And, I mean, obviously Season 3 is proving that. Season 3 is focusing on so many of the arcs from Season 1. Because Season 2 does not hit as hard. The first episode, I forget the names of the second season, but the first episode and I think the third episode of Season 2 are really, really good. But then again, it has its misses. It's not even close to the Ronin episode or the Twins episode or the Old Man episode from Season 1. Not even close. So, for those reasons, I put it there. Again, when it comes to Visions, that's probably where most people are going to have very differing opinions. Yeah. Andy K says, these rankings are stressing me. I can't type. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Jordan, ready with another $50. Oh, my God, Jordan. You're crazy. Jordan with another $50 holler. You're insane. I appreciate it quite a bit. Says, Sam, we'd be honored if you would join us. Yes, we would. She only graces us with her presence every once in a while to keep you guys on your toes. But I appreciate that, Jordan. I really, really do. Okay. Next on the list. Ooh, this is where things get really good, chat. Ahsoka Season 1. Where would you rank Ahsoka Season 1? If I see any other thing but S tier in this chat right now, I'm going to lose it. It's S, and it's so S that it's not even a conversation, okay? All right, here's the reality of the situation. I'm a very big Rebels fan, as you guys know. This is Rebels Season 5, all right? It is. And it takes all the great aspects of Rebels and all the great aspects of Ahsoka as a character, puts it into live action and makes it just a masterpiece. It gives us Grand Admiral Thrawn, gives us... All right, let me simmer down a second and gain my words for a second. First of all, let me put this here, because that's where it's going. Why Ahsoka is so good to me, okay? Why is Ahsoka so great to Mike? All right? Then we can talk about you guys, but first let's make it about me, okay? Ahsoka does all the things that a Star Wars show, or a Star Wars project in general, should do, and it does it at an extraordinary rate, in an extraordinary way. It expands the lore of Star Wars with adding a new galaxy and lore to the Night Sisters, to the Mortis Gods, to the World Between Worlds, a new galaxy with Peridia, and does all that stuff, which is great. It gives you incredible legacy characters, Anakin Skywalker, the Ghost Crew, Ahsoka Tano, and gives them incredible stories. It gives you new characters. Unbelievable new characters. English chat. Balin Skull, Shin Hati, Morgan Elsbeth. It's technically not her first appearance, but she's still a fairly new character. Brand new characters that are all fan favorite characters. Shin Hati, Balin Skull immediately became just enormous fan favorites. And it tells a story that deserves to be told. Now, this is some hard truth here. There are some Star Wars projects that don't need to be told, or maybe they shouldn't have been told. Ahsoka is definitely not one of them. Not only does this project pretty much work as the catalyst to the heir to the Empire, catalyst to Grand Admiral Thrawn being the new big bad in the universe and setting up the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and setting up Ahsoka Season 2 and setting up everything. It's the setup. It is the setup. But in and of itself, the project is perfect. The idea that Ahsoka doesn't get the credit or plot that she deserves is insane. That's a big complaint I see about Ahsoka all the time, is that Ahsoka's not really the main topic of the show. That's ridiculous. The whole gist of the first 3 episodes, before we actually get to the World Between Worlds and all that stuff, is that there's a whole backstory between her and Sabine that we're sort of figuring out as we go here, that she tried to train Sabine, but she was too afraid after she met Vader and found out that her master became the most evil guy in the universe, and then she had to rethink her life because she just thought, oh my God, what if the training that he gave me is going to make me evil, or even worse, make Sabine evil? So she had to stop training Sabine. It also explains why she can't train Grogu either. I could talk about Ahsoka forever, so I'm going to make a really long story short. The lesson she learns from Anakin in the World Between Worlds is the most necessary one that she could have ever asked for. And that is that she is not her master. She's her own person. She has the ability to choose to live or to die. But that is more of a metaphor. And she chooses to live, becomes Ahsoka the White, and now can train Sabine without the worry of turning her into the next Darth Vader. The other big complaint with Ahsoka Season 1, is that Sabine shouldn't be able to use the Force. And to that I say...
Incorrect.
Not only that, I'm going full screen for this. This is absurd. Absolutely absurd. And these are just... That's wrong. That's not a new super chat that already existed. Yeah, those is okay. We get it. Ah! There's gonna be one more chat. Be prepared. There it is. Sabine using the Force. Let me tell you something. We have never had an issue with somebody being able to wield the Force. And the way that the Force is explained by Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, Ahsoka, everybody who explains the Force in Star Wars, Qui-Gon Jinn, everybody, the Force flows through everyone. The ability to use the Force is the amount of training that you have. And the amount of... a lot of it has to do with the training that you have. Raw strength, raw talent does play a part. But the Force flows through all and is able to be controlled by all as well. With Sabine, the decade plus, 15 years, something like that, 15-ish years, The decade plus of training clearly wasn't enough for the Star Wars fans who don't think she should be able to wield the Force. Ezra wields the Force like that. No training. He gets trained to wield the Force a lot better. Anakin Skywalker wields the Force like that. Luke Skywalker wields the Force like that with no training. They get training to get better at the Force, but nobody complains about that. Savage Opress in the Clone Wars, no complaints. But when Sabine Wren has 15 years of training with Kanan Jarrus, Ahsoka Tano, two Jedi Masters, it's a problem. Sorry. I could talk about Ahsoka all day long, but the fact of the matter is, it's at the top of my list, and it stays at the top of my list. For now. So, I could talk about Ahsoka till the cows come home, but the cows ain't coming home because I don't own any cows. So, we'll keep on moving. The Bad Batch Season 3. The Bad Batch Season 3. Every time I think about the Bad Batch Season 3, every time I go rewatch certain episodes or rewatch certain scenes from the Bad Batch Season 3, it gets better. I don't know how they did it. Star Wars animation is so good. We know this. We have Star Wars Rebels. We've already ranked Star Wars Rebels. Clone Wars, we've already ranked those. Tales of the Jedi, we already ranked. The Bad Batch Season 3. I know that the Bad Batch Season 1 and Season 2 currently reside at the bottom of A tier. But what they do is set up for perfection, set up for peak in Season 3. And that's what we get. That is what Season 3 of the Bad Batch is. It is S tier easily. The question now becomes, where in S tier does it belong? Where? Because it's a very difficult conversation to pin these animated shows up against each other with Rebels Season 4, Rebels Season 3, all that stuff, the Clone Wars Season 7. But it's got to be in the same conversation. It's got to be. It's better than Tales of the Jedi. It's better than The Mandalorian Season 1. It's probably better than Rebels Season 3. Is it better than the Clone Wars Season 7? Again, all the episodes of Rebels Season 3 are good. Not just 4 at the end, like in Clone Wars Season 7. So where does it go? After Mando Season 2. So you would put it all the way up here? Honestly, on a good day, after having watched Rebels Season 3, you could probably convince me to put it here. But in reality, with recency bias not being a thing, it's not better than Andor Season 1. Is it? I don't think it is. I think right there is a pretty good spot for it. Right in the middle there, sort of a very high S tier. Very high. But not quite better than Andor. Is it? I don't know. Bad Batch Season 3 shocked me of how good it was, because I really wasn't the biggest fan of Season 1 and Season 2. They were good, but they were really not going anywhere. They weren't doing things like Rebels or the Clone Wars was until Season 3. And Season 3 just blew me out of the blew my mind. So I don't know. It's been a year plus since Bad Batch ended, and I still can't place it properly. I still don't know where to put it. But right now, I'm going to put it there. Yeah. Okay. Moving on, Tales of the Empire. So right after Bad Batch Season 3 ends, we get Tales of the Empire. And it's got Barriss Offee, it's got Morgan Elsbeth, but really those two characters, they aren't the most important piece of the story. You got the Inquisitors, you got Darth Vader with Barriss Offee's arc, and she becomes the healer. You got Grand Admiral Thrawn and how she goes to Corvus. Is it Corvus? Whatever it is. The planet she's on in The Mandalorian Season 2. And you got General Grievous slaughtering all the Night Sisters and her perspective of that. Tales of the Empire, to me, is the worst of the Tales arcs. Not that it's bad, but it's the worst of the arcs. But tell me in the chat, where would you put it? Where would you put it? B tier? C tier? Could be much better. Again, it could, yeah. Tales of the Empire, when you think of that, you could have done better characters. You could have done Tarkin. You could have done Krennic. You could have done anybody really in the Empire. They chose Barriss Offee and Morgan Elsbeth. You could have done Thrawn. I get that. It is still really good. It's just not anywhere close to the conversation of Tales of the Jedi. So it's definitely not S tier. Probably not even A tier. I put it in this B tier, but high B tier. The stuff on is it better than Book of Boba Fett? It's around this area. I'll put it below Book of Boba Fett. I'm feeling nice about Book of Boba Fett today. I don't know. It's got that, you know, yeah. Barris needs a better sequel? I don't know. Her becoming the healer was pretty good. Can we get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? My water's out and I'm losing my voice. Can we get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? I think mid to low B is pretty good for Tales of the Empire. I think that's where it belongs. All right, here's where things get really, 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 really frustrating for me. Tales is done. We're moving to The Acolyte. The Acolyte, chat. Where are you ranking The Acolyte? Okay, here comes the chaos. All right, let me just preface this. As you guys know, I'm a big Acolyte fan. I would love to see a second season. I'm not going to sit here and just straight up tell you that you should love The Acolyte or you should hate The Acolyte for any reason at all. I'm not here to sway your opinion in any sort of way. I just see what I see. And what I see is The Acolyte telling a great story about the Acolytes of the Sith, characters that I quite enjoy quite a bit. Chimere becoming one of my favorite characters of all time in Star Wars very, very quickly, wanting more of that character, getting Darth Plagueis. It's very frustrating that we don't get a second season of the show. Episode 5 of The Acolyte is peak. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. In my personal opinion, it's peak. I believe the finale's peak as well, but I would argue that the fifth episode is better. That forest fight is the best fight we've ever gotten since Revenge of the Sith. And not that is like a crazy thing to say, but that's a crazy thing to say because it's better than all the original trilogy fights. It's better than all the other fights that came after Revenge of the Sith. It's that good. The thing that hurts The Acolyte, honestly, to me, is that it's not getting a second season. And yes, I know people always say it breaks canon. It does not break canon. Still nobody to date, since this show came out over a year ago, almost a year ago, coming up on a year, has come up with anything that's broken canon with. So that's just out of the question completely. But it does not break canon. It actually expands the canon of the prequel trilogy in a very cool and creative way with the Jedi and their downfall and how that sort of seeps into all this stuff, and Soul being the, I guess, poster child of that. But I'm a lot higher on The Acolyte, so where I'm going to place it right now might make a lot of you very angry, okay? A lot of you very angry. But just take a deep breath, think about Chimere, and have a great night, okay? Take a sip of your good cup that follows orders, and just witness as I go higher than D, I go a lot higher than C, even blow past B, and we are right up here in the ace, okay? Right up here in the ace. Yeah, just let it happen. Just let it happen, Chad. Just let it happen, okay? Moving on. Okay, before everybody gets way too angry. Skeleton Crew. So, this just happened last fall. Last winter? Fall? Winter? Fall into winter. Sure. Last winter, we got Skeleton Crew. Okay? So, we've had about 6-ish months to think about Skeleton Crew. It feels like right after it ended, everybody just forgot about it. Not forgot about it, but stopped talking about it. It was almost inconsequential, easy for me to say, to what we were talking about at the time. Like, we almost just immediately moved on to Andor Season 2. Like, people just forgot about it. But let's not poo-poo Skeleton Crew, because it's great. It's not the best thing that ever exists in Star Wars, but it is great. I actually remember going into Skeleton Crew, I was like, if this is an A tier, it's a success. Like, it's a beyond a success. Because we really had no idea what it was going to be going into it. It's about kids. It's like a Goonies meets Star Wars type deal, and it really over succeeded in my personal opinion. Fern was by far, or maybe KB was my favorite. Yeah, KB was definitely my favorite. But you got characters like Jod and Neil, of course, fan favorite. But it didn't really connect to anything as we wanted it to. We thought it was going to connect to Thrawn. Gave us Atten, which hopefully will eventually turn into what Thrawn uses, what the First Order uses to pay for all their Star Destroyers. But it might be setting up something big for the future, but it didn't really set it up in the first season. But tell me in the chat, where do we put it? I see a lot of A's, actually. High B. No, yeah. Solid B. Well, when we look at the B's, it's better than Boba Fett. Okay? Plain and simple. Better than Boba Fett. Is it better than the Bad Batch Season 1? Yes. Is it better than the Mandalorian Season 3? I'd say maybe yes. Maybe not. I think this is it. This is where it sits. Right in this area. I'd say... I'm feeling good about Skeleton Crew today. We're going to put it higher than the Mandalorian Season 3. Yeah. Right there. That seems like a good spot. That seems as good a spot as any. I like it. All right. With that, we're moving on. Tales of the Underworld. So this was very recent. Just about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Right? Sure. 2 weeks ago. Just about. Tales of the Underworld. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Asajj Ventress, Cad Bane, giving us a unexpected origin story for Cad Bane, my favorite bounty hunter of all time, and giving us a really great story for Asajj Ventress, explaining how she survives the Dark Disciple stuff, setting up this future story for her with this apprentice, with this new character of Lyko. Honestly, I think Asajj will get her own show eventually, or at least show up in live action, maybe in Ahsoka Season 2, I'm not too sure. It set up something really, really cool for the future. I'm very, very high on Tales of the Underworld still. I don't think... I mean, it's in the same conversation as Jedi. Is it better than Jedi? I'm not sure. In the same conversation for sure. I put it in this low S tier. Absolutely. It's that good. Actually... maybe high A. I think I'm going to go high A. I think what will put it into the S tier is if eventually what happens to Asajj Ventress in that story. Like if that turns into something crazy. Because the Cad Bane stuff I freaking loved, but that's because I love Cad Bane so much. He's my favorite bounty hunter of all time. So that's different. I understand that people aren't going to like it as much as I did. But the Asajj Ventress stuff is what's really interesting. And if it turns into something in the future, it will make that show even better. Yeah. So that's where I put it. For sure. Bro, Clone Wars Season 1 through 6 has to be S tier. Does it, though? I agree with you that a lot of the stuff in Clone Wars Season 1 through 6 should be S tier, but not all of it. Mortis arc, absolutely. All the Darth Maul stuff, Mandalore, 100%. But then you have random stuff like the droids going through the desert. Like that's, no, it takes it down. It has to take it down. All the first 2 seasons, like it has to take it down. Like that stuff, although it's important, much like Rebel Season 1, much like Bad Batch Season 1, it's important to make those Season 7 S tier, to make that Season 3 S tier, to make these Season 4 and 3 S tier. It's important, but it does bring it down. Indeed, it does. Now, what we've all been waiting for. Andor Season 2. Where do we rate Andor Season 2 on the list, chat? What do we think? What do we think? Top of S tier, SSS. It's a D tier? Okay. S above it all. Number 1. Top of S, no question. All right, chat. Recency bias. All right? Let's not forget about it. I hear that all the time. Recency bias means that Andor Season 2 is not good. Because we just watched Andor Season 2 means it can't be good. Bullshit! Bullshit. It's incredible. Okay? It's so damn good. Is it better than Ahsoka? Is it better than The Mandalorian Season 2? That's the question. Because it is better than Andor Season 1, as many of you in the poll said. It is better than Rebels Season 4. I'll say it. It is. But is it better than Luke Skywalker, Bo-Katan, Din and Grogu, Ahsoka Tano's first ever live action appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2? Is it better than the greatness that is Ahsoka Season 2 with the lore extension of the new galaxy, Peridia, Grand Admiral Thrawn setting up as the heir to the Empire, Anakin versus Obi-Wan in the world between worlds, Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati? Is it better than that? I can't do it, Chad. I can't do this. This is too difficult of a decision to make. This is too hard. They're all so damn good. The chat says yes. You know what? I think we need a third party. A third party who has no prior knowledge of any of these three projects. Should we bring her in, chat? Should we bring her in? Chat? Introducing recent college graduate.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So here's the dilemma, okay? We just finished watching. Oh, I'll move over a little bit. Here we go. We just finished watching Andor Season 2 this week. And it was spectacular. It was fan-freaking-tastic, okay? You haven't seen that yet, obviously. You're still on the Clone Wars, and that's okay. That's okay. We don't judge over here. You'll get to it eventually.
No judgment.
And you haven't seen Mando Season 2 either. You haven't seen Ahsoka either, which is great, okay? We'll get there eventually. And it will be fantastic, and I'll get to watch it all again. The dilemma is they are all so good that I don't know what to put above which project. Now, I did joke about just a second ago, as you heard, recency bias being a thing. It is a thing. We just watched Andor Season 2 5 days ago. I haven't watched Ahsoka in a couple months. So that's a big deal. How I remember Ahsoka, how I remember Mando Season 2, how you feel watching those projects versus how you feel watching Andor Season 2. It's a very similar feeling. But I can't decide. So here's the deal. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to leave it up to you and then have chat be mad at you instead of me because they like you a lot more than they like me. So I'm just going to have you do it, okay? And Jordan Rennie just sent a $10 haul, so let's check that out first. Before we do this, before Sam makes the executive decision, chat, Jordan Rennie with a $10 haul says, Sam, we are honored that you have joined us. He was saying that, yeah, we'd be honored if you join us, which is what Vader says in Empire Strikes. You know that. You've seen Empire Strikes Back. But he's honored that you joined us now. So do you have anything to say to Jordan?
Thanks for wanting me to come on, guys.
Nope, we don't want you on. Okay, they lied to you. They don't want you here. So you have to make the decision. Okay. Isn't Andor all cameos? No, it is not. Andor is goated. Ahsoka. Okay, search your feelings, Mike. You know it to be true. No, you're using
Where's the next one. Why don't you?
you're using Sam as a shield, like K2. Yes, I am, and I'm going to stick to that because here's the deal. I've thought about it for days now because since Andor Season 2 ended, I knew that I had to make this tier list video. I've been thinking about it. It's impossible. I know that Ahsoka is better than Mando Season 2 in my head because I love Ahsoka so much. I love the Ghosts crew so much. I love Rebels so much. I love Anakin so much. And I love the story told in Ahsoka Season 1 more than I like the story told in Mando Season 2, even with the cameos, even with Luke Skywalker. I know that in my own brain. What I can't do is figure out if I like Andor Season 2 more than that. It's very difficult because from a story writing perspective, both projects are extremely good. It's Dave Filoni at its best. It's Tony Gilroy at his best. The acting-wise, I mean, people talk about acting-wise, Andor is the best of the best. I think we forget about Ray Stevenson's Baylan Skoll and Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Tano. We forget about the great performances in that show as well. So it's almost so impossible that I need a outside perspective who's never seen either project to make the executive decision. So without further ado, what is better? Ahsoka, Mando season 2. Actually, no, we don't even put Mando season 2 in the conversation. Ahsoka season 1 or Andor season 2. Don't let the chat make your decision. You have to make it on your own.
I'm just using my resources and, taking my survey of everyone's opinions since I have seen none of it
Should we pull it up?
and know nothing. I think we should pull it up and then I will make my
Okay, fine. We're pulling it up. But you can't let the poll sway your decision, okay? And we got a question from Jordan Rennie, too. Jordan Rennie with a very generous $5 haul says, what's been your favorite Star Wars project so far?
Well, I've seen all the movies. Yes, all the movies?
Yeah.
Yes. I've seen all the movies. And seen some of the Clone Wars, and that's it. So going based off of that, what season are we on Clone Wars? Is it 2?
3,
Three. Regardless, gotta say, Revenge of the Sith. That's my objective opinion. It's great. We watched it in the theaters, and it confirmed that is my favorite. Yeah, it was great to watch it in the theaters. I realized I haven't been on since that happened. That was a wonderful experience. That was fantastic. It was nice to be able to see that considering I wasn't born when it came. No, when did it come out?
2005.
Oh, I was born. Don't worry, I was born. I was just young. But yeah, so Revenge of the Sith, definitely my favorite. And it was great to see it in person. It was awesome on the big screen.
Don't look at that. So yeah, I taught her well. Obviously, Revenge of the Sith peak. Okay. Yeah, so don't let that poll judge you, change your judgment at all, okay? Don't even look at it, okay? Just make, this is it. You just gotta, ready? Andor season 2 or Ahsoka, go.
Can I see the poll?
No. You can't see the poll. No, go. Which one?
Is this just, I'm just picking to pick, or I'm picking based off of what
This
I've heard
goes
you
higher
say
than
about
this.
it?
Which one?
I get no context.
Nothing.
I'm looking at the covers. That's my context.
Okay, those are your covers.
Ahsoka.
Yes! I don't even know. I don't know how to feel about that. Andor season 2 is so great. Honestly, the reality of the situation is I'm going to put this into the Discord later, and you guys are probably going to put Andor season 2 above it, or you'll even put
That's okay.
whatever happens. It is that's.
I won't be mad.
Sam's going to be so mad. She just said she's going to be so
I won't
mad.
be mad. I said I won't be mad.
But that's it's an argument to be had easily, actually. On a good day after watching Andor season 2, I'd put this right here. Recency bias might just put this right here, but because Sam said it, that makes it fact, and Ahsoka is better. But take a second to look at this list, Chad. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, since Clone Wars season 1 through 6, this one project right here. All the other projects are Disney Star Wars. They're since George Lucas sold the company. Every single one on this list. Look at all the S tier. Look at all the A tier. And yes, you have some B and you have some C and you have a D. But you always got to have a D.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Pause. Okay. Sorry. Oh, Jordan, stop. No, that was an old one. Never mind. Okay. I don't know why it does that. So look at all the greatness that we've been getting from Star Wars in recent past. This is all okay. I don't like when it does that. Stop eyeing at me. This is just the last 6 years. 6 years. Actually, I lied. That's more than 6 years. Rebels is in there too. This is the last 10 years. 10 years. That's it. So when we talk about Star Wars being dead, Star Wars is back. Whenever something's good and they go, oh, Star Wars is back. No, it's been here. It's here right now. And we just watched Andor season 2, arguably the greatest project of all time, or at least show of all time. And that's right now. This is present day, 2025, May 17th, 2025. That's it. We are in peak right now. Peak Star Wars. And guess what? Next year, 2026, is the Maul series. Is the Mandalorian and Grogu. Is Ahsoka season 2. So yeah, we eat well as Star Wars fans all the time. And in this time off, because Andor season 2 is over and we don't really have anything except for Visions Volume 3 and Tales and Rebuild the Galaxy season 2 for the rest of the year, we get to watch everything because you haven't seen it.
not. I have not seen. Well, I've seen stuff, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything.
Exactly. So that's the tier list, and I'm sticking to it. As you can probably notice, last time we did this tier list, it's changed, I'm sure. I actually don't know. It probably has changed. Any different day causes for any of these to shift. If you watch one of these projects and you watch the Bad Batch season 3, you're like, oh my God, that is really peak. It might move up. It might come down. I don't know. That's why I'm going to send this to the Discord and you guys can make your own. But with that, that's the tier list and I'm sticking to it. Andor season 2 is over. It's over. Sadly. But that doesn't mean that it's sad days, because now Rogue One sits at the top of the list on... Oh, that's Luthen cut off Jar Jar Binks' head. Rogue One sits at the top of the list on Disney Plus as the #1 movie on Disney Plus, and that's just the Andor effect right there. And yeah, it's literally the greatest time to be a Star Wars fan and a new Star Wars fan. So, with that being said, let's see the picture of Sam again. Okay, let's show the picture of Sam again. Oh, 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 oh.
Nice.
There you go. Okay. Say your congratulations to Sam before we get on out of here. And your list is insane. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Insanity was what I was going for, you know? Who wants to be sane? Revolution is not for the sane. Okay. Sorry. You don't know what that means. It's Saw Gerrera. He's great. Okay. You'll meet him soon in the Clone Wars. Okay. With that being said, I do have to get on out of here. Let's end this poll. By the way, 82% of you said that Andor season 2 is better than Ahsoka. Okay. That's so crazy. All right. Look at all those congratulations. You want to say things?
Yes. Thanks, everybody, for the congratulations. For those who are not sure, yes, I did graduate this morning, bright and early, starting at 9 a.m. Well, that's not that early, but I had to be there at 7. So thanks for the congrats, everyone. I really appreciate it.
There you have it. From the real person behind the guy who loves Star Wars, Sam. If you're not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below, so I'll send that link over there so you guys can make your own tier list, and we'll go from there. Watch out for... Actually, we already posted today's short because we had the late live stream. So go check out the short we posted earlier today about George Lucas. Watch out for a short tomorrow and a live stream for every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for the rest of your lives. And Jordan Rennie with a very generous $5 house. What?
I feel like I have to clarify that I graduated college today, not high school. Some concern.
we clarified that. Oh,
I got a bad feeling about this.
okay. With that, we'll leave it on that note, I guess. And yeah. May the force be with you. But always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. I know the tier lists do get a little chaotic and we all have our own opinions, but we hope we can all keep it civil in the chat. And, yeah. I'll send the link over to the Discord so you guys can make your own with that same list. But until then, hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.